Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be ranking all of the ghosts in Phasmophobia as of the Halloween update by how dangerous they are. So I have 8 tiers here, most dangerous to least dangerous, and I'm going to explain what the tiers are for. Most dangerous is obviously for the most dangerous ghost currently in the game. S tier is like the runners up. They are extremely dangerous and you should definitely watch out for them in your missions. A is ghosts that are very dangerous but not on the same level as some of the ones in S. B are ghosts that are just dangerous. Dangerous in general. They're not ridiculously dangerous. They're just kind of things that you might want to watch out for a little bit. C tiers for your average ghosts. Ghosts that honestly aren't that much of a threat to you during missions, either in multiplayer or single player. D is for ghosts that do not pose much of a threat at all. They are ghosts that are quite manageable and honestly have not too much going for them. F tier is for the worst, it's for the easiest ghosts in the game. These are ghosts that are either easy to figure out, have little to no strength, and are honestly all around not strong at all. And then least dangerous is going to be for the least dangerous ghost. So let's get right into it. Now we're starting things off not very strong with the spirit. In my opinion, the spirit is the least dangerous ghost in the game. The spirit has no strength and a very big weakness. If you smudge the ghost room of which a spirit is in, the spirit cannot hunt for 3 minutes, which gives you tons of time to finish objectives, to get more evidence if you have not gotten the ghost yet, or just to find out ghosts in a no evidence run. The spirit has not much going for it at all, so it is the least dangerous ghost in the game right now, in my opinion. Now we have the Wraith, one of the most overrated ghosts in the game. The Wraith poses little to no threat as it honestly, its strength is not a very good one. The fact that Wraiths never touch the ground is honestly that not that much of a deal. Like not that much of a big deal at all. Not to mention the fact that it is extremely easy to find out if the ghost is a wraith or not by doing a simple salt test. Placing salt on the ground, seeing if it steps in it, and if you hear footsteps, you check around the area with either a UV or a glow stick. If you see no footsteps, it is a wraith. Other than that, the wraith has not much going for it at all. There were a few myths going around in the early days of Phasmophobia that they could easily see through lockers, closets, and even doors, but all of that is false. In my opinion, the Wraith is an F tier ghost. Now we have an even more overrated ghost, the Banshee. The Banshee is often thought of as a very dangerous ghost, but honestly, it is not. The Banshee is the one of the only ghosts in the game that can hunt at 100% sanity, with the other being the Onryo. However, the chance of the Banshee actually doing this is so incredibly low. I have 215 hours in Phasmophobia, and I have never had a Banshee hunt early. This combined with the fact that the Banshee can only target one person at a time makes the Banshee not that dangerous of a ghost, especially in Nightmare mode when the ghost has to find a new target if he wants to continue the hunt. However, the small chance that a Banshee does early hunt makes this slightly more dangerous than things like the Wraith or the Spirit. Therefore, I am going to put the Banshee in D tier. Now we have our first dangerous ghost on this list, the Yokai. The Yokai is angered by people talking. Despite this, one of its evidence types is the Spirit Box. It's like a double-edged sword, as if you want to get your Spirit Box evidence, you have to talk, which angers the Yokai and can cause an early hunt up to 80% sanity. And these early hunts with Yokais are not rare at all. Unlike the Banshee, Yokais almost always hunt early if you are continuously talking. However, its weakness is quite a big one. The yokai can only hear you if it is within 2 meters of you, which is a pretty big hindrance towards it. Also, the yokai does not have anything to help it during a hunt. It does not have a speed boost. It honestly, during a hunt, it is not super dangerous. However, the fact that it can hunt as early as it can and catch you completely off guard really early in the game, combined with the fact that it has Spirit Box as its evidence, makes the yokai a dangerous ghost. I'm going to put the yokai in A tier. Next is the Goryo. The Goryo is kind of like the Shade and the Yurei. It's quite forgettable. Its strength is that it can only be seen, its dots can only be seen through a video camera when no one is in the room. However, in certain situations, this can actually be a weakness. As, say, you're on Nightmare mode, and you have 2 pieces of evidence, and one of your options is a Goryo. If you do not have Dots Projector as one of those 2 evidences that you already have, you can immediately rule out the Goryo. The Goryo will always have Dots Projector show up as an evidence in Nightmare mode. Also, Goryos do not wander very much. Even at literally 0% sanity, the Goryo will probably not go farther than a few rooms. To be honest, the Goryo does not have too much going for it. Therefore, I am going to put it in D tier. Next is the Myling, another not so dangerous ghost. The Myling is just as forgettable as the Goryo, however, it is slightly more dangerous. So, the Myling makes paranormal sounds through a parabolic microphone, and it is quieter during hunts. Not by much, though. In fact, I barely notice a difference when I am playing against a Myling compared to normal ghosts. While the Myling is quite forgettable, the fact that it is quite quieter during hunts, it's not by much, but it is somewhat noticeable, makes the Myling somewhat more dangerous than a Wraith. However, it's really not by much, and the Myling, other than that, has nothing going for it. So I'm going to put the Myling in D tier. Next is our first new ghost, the Onryo. The Onryo is probably the most complicated ghost in the game. It is an early hunter both ways. So the weakness of the Onryo is that when threatened by a candle, the ghost cannot hunt at all, which is a huge weakness. However, if the Onryo blows out said candle, it can hunt instantly. 100% sanity, 0% sanity, no matter your sanity, the Onryo can hunt if it blows out a flame. Not just candles, but it can also blow out your lighter and the campfire on Maple Lodge campsite. And you may be thinking, oh, then I just won't put a candle in the room. However, if you don't put a candle in the room, the Onryo can early hunt either way. The Onryo can hunt at 65% sanity, which is pretty high, higher than things like the Mare and the Raiju, I believe. So, this combined with the fact that it can early hunt if it blows out a flame, makes the Onryo relatively dangerous. However, it doesn't have anything to really help it during a hunt. So I am going to put the Onryo in B tier. Next, the Shade. Just barely stronger than the Spirit, the Shade is pretty much a Spirit. Except it really only does things when you are alone. Shades are the most active when there is only one or no persons in the room. This makes the Shade quite a shy ghost. Sometimes it will barely do anything the entire mission. However, that's all it has. It cannot initiate a hunt early. It cannot do anything during a hunt. And honestly, its counter is just having multiple people in the room. The Shade is almost as weak as the Spirit. So I'm going to put the Shade in F tier. the Phantom. The Phantom, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated ghosts in the game. Phantoms appear less frequently during hunts, but they're also quite easy to determine. If you take a photo of a phantom during a manifestation, then you will both lose 25% sanity and the ghost will disappear in the photo. This allows you to determine the phantom relatively easily. However, the 25% sanity drain is very substantial. It can change the game quite quickly, as you could go from, say, 70 sanity to hunting range in an instant. Also, during a hunt, the phantom is only visible every 1.5 seconds, which doesn't sound like that much of a big deal, but it is. It makes the phantom so hard to see during a hunt, especially if it is a shadow or transparent ghost model. In my opinion, the phantom is quite dangerous. However, it's not as dangerous as some of the other ghosts on this list, as you can just take a picture of it and know what it is, as well as you can still outrun it like most other ghosts. I'm going to put Phantom at the top of B tier. Oh, the Jinn. There has been so much conversation about the Jinn lately and its danger level. So the Jinn is the third fastest ghost in the game if it has direct line of sight of you, and it is more than 4 meters away from your location. The Jinn's counter is turning the breaker off, which is a pretty massive counter. When the Jinn sees you, it will speed up to 2.1 meters per second, which is roughly the same as player sprinting speed, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Jinns, when they are far away from you and see you, can be quite dangerous. However, once they get into 4 meters with you, they slow down to normal ghost speed. The Jinn is a very strange case of a ghost, because it's relatively dangerous when you have the breaker on, but when you have the breaker off, it's not that much of a threat. However, the Jinn also has a relatively unknown power of draining your sanity 25% randomly. The Jinn is honestly very strange to rank on this list. I'm going to put it in B tier, though, because if you do have the breaker on and you get hunted before you know it is a Jinn, then you might be screwed. Next is the Poltergeist. The Poltergeist is pretty much identical to a spirit, except every time it throws something, it drains 2% of your sanity. And also, the Poltergeist can throw pretty much an unlimited amount of objects in the same time if they're within a certain vicinity. This is very rare, however, and while it may drain a big chunk of your sanity, it has to be in a very specific location where there are lots of items. Not to mention the fact that you do have to be close to the Poltergeist. Other than that, it has not much going for it at all. I'm going to put the Poltergeist in F tier. The Mare. The Mare is honestly very average. The Mare can hunt early if you're at 60% sanity and the lights are off, but it cannot hunt until 40% if the lights are on. So, it's honestly kind of in the middle. As long as you keep the breaker on and the lights on around you, you should be okay. However, the Mare turns off the breaker more than any other ghost. The Mare doesn't have anything to catch up to you during a hunt, and honestly, I've never really seen a Mare and I'm like, oh no, it's a Mare, be careful. No. But the Mare is not a weak ghost either, because it doesn't necessarily have a counter for very long, as Mares turn off lights, turn off the breaker, and honestly act like any other ghosts most of the time. So I'm going to put the Mare in C tier, because it is significantly average. Our next new ghost is the Twins. I really like the Twins. I haven't gotten to play around with them too much. However, to summarize them, there are two ghosts. One is the main ghost, one is the clone. choose 2 different ghost rooms, and one will give evidence while the other won't. The twins can hunt from either location, which can catch you off guard quite easily. And honestly, it's somewhat of a threat, despite the fact that they are not fast or anything like that. However, the twins are very easy to identify. If you see things happening in 2 different rooms at the same time, you pretty much can guarantee that it is the twins. However, the fact that the twins can pretty much hunt from anywhere without you knowing, well, when I say anywhere, I mean from either room, and there's not really a way to predict which one it will, it makes the twins relatively dangerous. I'm going to put the twins in B tier. The Revenant. The iconic "oh no" ghost. Every time anyone sees a Revenant, they immediately freak out. And I'm pretty sure that goes for everyone. When they have line of sight of you, Revenants are twice as fast as any other ghost. However, if you break that line of sight, then it is half the speed of any other ghost, I believe. So, this sounds like it'd be the most dangerous ghost in the game, right? Actually, no. In my opinion, one of the ghosts here is more dangerous than the Revenant. And I'm pretty sure you could guess which one, but the Revenant cannot initiate a hunt early or anything like that. However, it still is so fast and so inescapable that it is a huge threat. A massive threat. I'm going to put the Revenant in S tier. However, there is one ghost out of these 6 that is more dangerous than the Revenant. Next is the Demon. The Demon can hunt at 70% sanity and is one of the most aggressive ghosts in the game. It can pretty much chain hunt whenever it wants to, and it is a relatively large threat. However, I don't think it's on the same level as the Revenant, as it can't catch up to you during a hunt. It doesn't have anything special to catch up with you during a hunt. However, the fact that it can early hunt and chain hunt so quickly makes it super dangerous. I really see the Demon as a big threat within the new update, not to mention the fact that now that ghosts speed up a lot faster, despite the fact that it doesn't have any special abilities to catch up, the fact that you can be chain hunted at a high sanity and the ghost may even be able to catch up to you, makes the Demon very dangerous. I'm going to put the Demon in A tier. Next is the Raiju. The Raiju is the most dangerous ghost in the game, to me. The Raiju can The Raiju is the second fastest ghost in the game, if there is equipment around its ghost room. And there will always be equipment around the ghost room. I don't care if you're playing no evidence. I don't care if you're playing with barely any equipment, with starting equipment. No. The Raiju is very dangerous. It is like the Revenant, it's just barely slower. However, the thing that makes the Raiju more dangerous than the Revenant is the fact that it can early hunt. The Raiju can hunt at 65% sanity. Imagine that, an early hunting Revenant that is powered by the equipment that you always have. The Raiju is extremely dangerous, not to mention the fact that it will speed up over time if it sees you. However, if the Raiju is on a different floor than the equipment, it will slow down slightly. But that doesn't apply all the time, unless you're on a map where you're moving between floors all the time, like Edgefield or Ridgeview. The Raiju is very, very dangerous. In my opinion, the Raiju is the most dangerous ghost in the game in the moment. The Yokai. Probably one of the most forgettable ghosts in the game. The Yokai drains your sanity twice as fast as other ghosts. Other than that, it's somewhat lame. Smudging a Yokai stops it from wandering around. However, I've never really used that against the Yokai, because while you'll be able to get evidence quicker, what else does that really do? What does stopping the ghost from wandering? If you already know it's a Yurei, what does stopping the ghost from wandering really do? Maybe it stops them from spawning somewhere else other than the ghost room. But even without smudging it, that's somewhat of a low threat. Not to mention the fact that you'll have the 90-second cooldown period because you smudged the ghost between hunts. So it really won't apply because the Yurei can just start wandering again right after the 90 seconds ends. However, the Yurei, while the Yurei can drain your sanity quite fast, and it does have a special ability like the Jinn where it can drain 25% sanity instantly. However, this is about as rare as the Banshee's early hunt. I'm going to put the Yurei in C tier. The Oni is like a knockoff Poltergeist. It does everything the Poltergeist does, but worse. It does not drain sanity when it throws items. It can throw items faster than the Poltergeist and any other ghost. But other than that, it's pretty much nothing. The Oni is so incredibly forgettable and does so little that it honestly could compete for the least dangerous ghost in the game, along with the Spirit and Shade. However, the Spirit is obviously the least dangerous ghost in the game. So I'm going to put the Oni in F tier. And I feel like that's being generous. If I could have 2 spots in the least dangerous category, I would put the Oni there. Probably the Shade as well. Next is the Hantu. The Hantu moves faster in colder temperatures, such as when the breaker's off or it's snowing. If the breaker's on, however, the Hantu will move extremely slowly, and it will only speed up if it has line of sight of the player. With the breaker on and at maximum temperatures, the Hantu will travel at 1.3 meters per second. That is only slightly higher than the speed of the original player walking speed. That is extremely slow. Also, even at the coldest temperatures possible, the Hantu will only move at a speed of 1.8 meters per second, slightly faster than the player's walking speed now. But the Hantu can catch you off guard sometimes if you are expecting a ghost to be a bit slower than it actually is with cold temperatures around the house or the prison or wherever you're at. The Hantu can catch you off guard. But other than that, it's very average. I'm going to put the Hantu in C tier. Finally, we have the Obake. The Obake is pretty much the Obake. It is not very dangerous. It cannot hunt early. It doesn't have anything special to catch up with you during a hunt. And its really only strength is that it doesn't give fingerprints 100% of the time. And that's when it does give fingerprints, it has a chance to give some different fingerprints than it gave before. This makes the Obake very easy to identify, and honestly, it is not much of a threat at all. There's not much else to say about the Obake because it's honestly not that big of a threat, and you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to put the Obake in D tier. That's my tier list. So in the most dangerous category, we have the Raiju. Then we have the Revenant. In A tier, we have Demon and Yokai. In B tier, we have Jinn, Phantom, Onryo, and the Twins. In C tier, we have the Mare, the Yurei, and the Hantu. In D tier, we have the Myling, the Banshee, the Goryo, and the Obake. In F tier, we have the Wraith, Shade, Poltergeist, and Oni. And in the least dangerous category, we have the Spirit. Poor Spirit. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe as it helps out the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.